Hi everyone, welcome back to our podcast. It still feels amazing to say, but yes, welcome back to our podcast and welcome to the second episode of Desi Dialogues by your very own Desi psychologist Chetna and Akshatara.
बोलना तू बोलेगी ना go ahead fulfill your dream अच्छा
Okay, hi guys, welcome back to our channel. Hype me up. And I think let's go and get into the podcast.
Yay!
It feels nice to say this.
First of all, we both want to say that thank you so much for showing all the love that you showed and watched our first episode, because it was just a year-round backup and how we as people and as female friends got together and started something, and now everything is just, it feels nice, touch wood, all the wood in the world. And I mean, okay, so also I want to mention that for this episode I styled Tara. She looks pretty. And those who did not watch like the first episode, this is sort of our ritual that we are going to follow, and let's see how long we can follow this one. But basically we ask each other those impromptu questions at the end of the episode, and whosoever like answers it in the most presentable manner will get to style the other person for the next episode. So how do you feel, Tara?
I feel lovely. Thank you so much for choosing my outfit for me, choosing my accessories. I loved how Chetna put up a bindi also to make it
I
a
think
whole look.
dressing up is the most exciting part of
हाँ,
doing
and
this.
I think that is one of the bonding activities.
Yeah.
हाँ, हम दोनों की especially that is where we bond.
That's true. That's true.
In the dressing area. So, Cheta Arora, what is this episode gonna be about? What are we talking today?
So I think इसको थोड़ा simple रखते हैं, because I think जो हमारा topic है वो बहुत complex है, तो it really needs to be understood in the most simplest terms. I think हम सबने वो word सुना है therapy, and I think even though therapy it's been a word which has been overused a lot, people don't know what is therapy, and people don't know how to seek a therapist. What is therapy? Why do we need therapy? When do we need therapy? So to answer all the how, when, why, what, and क्यों specifically चाहिए,
और अगर चाहिए तो कैसे मिलेगी, और what are the things that you should just know before going to the therapist or going to therapy.
Definitely. So I think let's cover that, and I think it would help the population that don't know कि कहाँ जाना है, क्या करना है.
But I think पता है, people who like are coming from psychology background ना, उनको भी नहीं पता होता है. Like they would have a good idea as compared to people who are not from the field. But even I remember कि हम लोगों को भी कहाँ पता था. मतलब we knew the basics, but कितनी सारी चीजें over the time clear हुई हैं.
And देखो याद है, like जब हम लोग ऐसे बैचलर्स में बात करते थे कि यार हम कैसे थेरेपी देंगे, like how are we supposed to करना, क्या होता है, what.
But I think ये तो अभी तक भी था, पता है. I was still very scared कि मैं जाके बोलूंगी क्या.
Because it's too much responsibility as well.
हाँ, like even a single word you say can just
really impact someone's mind. So I think let's start with the basic about what is therapy.
चलो.
जब हम थेरेपी की बात करते हैं तो it is लोगों को लगता है कि जाके सिर्फ बात करनी होती है, कि हम गए, अपना हमने दुख और जो भी बातें हैं या परेशानियां हैं वो सुनाई, एंड थेरेपिस्ट सॉल्व्स देम. तो जो भी ये देख रहे हैं एपिसोड, उनको हम बताएंगे ऐसा नहीं होता है, ऐसा लॉन्ग रन में होता है, बट a therapist does not solve the situation.
हाँ, neither it is guidance.
हाँ,
ठीक है, कि तुम जाके किसी को डायरेक्शन दिखाओ कि अच्छा, if you're going through a breakup, मेरे को ये लगता है कि तुम्हें ये करना चाहिए.
Exactly.
ठीक है, that is
it is what तुम्हें क्या लगता है
कि तुम्हें क्या करना चाहिए. But also फिर यही that is what जितना वो चल रहा था ना, this is therapy, the trend, you remember?
Yeah, we make videos around that also, no?
So जैसे talking to my best friend is therapy.
Yeah.
कितना ज़्यादा overused line है ये, and how wrong it is.
I mean, of course, when we talk, it is a very different therapeutic experience.
It can be therapeutic, it cannot be therapy. But like when I come running to you with a problem, you would give me guidance. You would say कि तारा, I think तुझे ये करना चाहिए.
That is me giving you advice. But I think therapy is more about telling you that you are the owner of your life
हाँ,
and asking you such questions that make you think yourself.
हाँ,
मतलब मुझे पता है कि when I was into therapy, there were times when my therapist used to ask me question, I was like, oh shit, ये तो मुझे इतनी तेज hit
हाँ,
करती थी बात.
and I never thought about it.
Exactly. So I think it's more about bringing a perspective,
Hmm.
talking in terms of providing a space कि जहाँ पे a person can vent
Hmm.
and think about what they want to do with their life or with a situation or with a particular concern.
हाँ,
है ना?
with them themselves being the owner of the path they choose. That is what I
Exactly.
think is very important. When people think कि therapy है, तो it's more like कि जैसे school counselors होते हैं कि it's not even at school counseling. It's not just someone telling कि ऐसे marks बढ़ाओ अपने.
हाँ.
ठीक है? There's a lot
It's
of
what वो पूछते हैं कि
हाँ,
बेटा आपको स्कूल में कोई परेशानी है,
हाँ,
पेरेंट्स की तरफ से कोई प्रेशर आ रहा है, खुद को लगता है कि कोई प्रेशर लग रहा है कि कुछ करना है and all of that. They make you think about yourself. I think it gives you more of control over your life. कि अच्छा मैं कैसे अपनी लाइफ को कंट्रोल करना चाहती हूँ in a way where I can be a better person. So I think that concludes कि थेरेपी में होता क्या है and किस तरीके से थेरेपी हेल्प सॉर्ट ऑफ करती है. So if I have to ask you that therapist कौन होता है? अभी तो हमने बताया थेरेपी में क्या चलता है, but who exactly do you think is a therapist or a psychologist?
Not your best friend. Firstly, not your best friend, not your favorite teacher.
Not Taylor Swift
Not
either.
Taylor Swift.
It breaks my heart. But
this is gonna be the first time Desi Dialogues where we first time mentioned Taylor Swift.
It's going to come up a lot, I believe.
Embarking the moment with
yeah.
So coming back to the question, I would say someone सबसे बड़ी पता है प्रॉब्लम क्या है? People don't realize. कितनी बार हमने भी सुना है बात करने के लिए तो पैसे लेते हो. People don't realize how much
effort it takes to have that talk.
हाँ, and how many hours of training we go through to call ourselves therapists. ठीक है? कितने 2 साल की तुम्हारी 11th-12th में तुमने बेसिक सीखे. ठीक है? Then you do 3 years of undergraduation. ठीक है?
अब तो 4 साल की हो गई.
हाँ, मतलब
वो अलग बात है.
हम लोगों ने 3 साल की थी.
हाँ, बट फिर हमने 2 साल की
मास्टर्स की. ठीक है? Then you can call yourself a counselor. If you want to delve into the clinical aspect of it, then you do another degree for 2 years. ठीक है? And then
उसमें भी बीच में there are courses, diplomas, there are different.
After that, बीच में क्या? उसके बाद भी people are always upgrading themselves.
I mean, I think as a therapist, the job doesn't end after your education. It is a constantly evolving field.
Even before a session, after a session.
The session notes.
ठीक है? और you'll have to study before going in a session. ठीक है? And after that also you'll have to just आधा घंटा sit with the notes and just
last session में क्या हुआ था, आज क्या किस तरीके से बात करनी है या task देना है, and if not task की exactly what questions and what things or themes to bring in that particular session so that it helps.
And it is a lot of responsibility. And it is a lot of responsibility because the other person, even if people are not looking for guidance and like advice per se, but there's a lot of responsibility because the other person is still counting on you.
Exactly. And I think a person, मतलब मुझे as a client लगता है कि बहुत ज़्यादा ना डर लगता है कि यार what if they gossip about me, what if they tell something about me, तो there are so many confidentiality concerns and judgmental concerns कि यार मैं अपनी लाइफ की स्टोरी बता रही हूँ तो भाई कितना जज कर रही होगी या कर रहा होगा, मतलब कि क्या ही सोच रहा होगा, इसकी लाइफ में तो कुछ नहीं चला. बट what they don't know is we have so many clients and everyone is going through something or the other.
And we ourselves are going through so many things. So I think
there I would just want to say therapist needs therapy.
That we'll come to this. This is so I'm someone who has never gone to therapy abhi tak, but I think with this new MPhil course and with the life I'm leading right now, I'm soon on the path.
We'll consider it.
No, I'm genuinely trying to actively look for a therapist for myself also. Because बहुत जरूरी है कि
to have that balance.
True.
So I think let's go into the segment कि therapy चाहिए कब होती है या क्यों चाहिए होती है.
हाँ, I think this is something that we need to address is that कि this कुछ तुम्हारे साथ गलत नहीं होना चाहिए, ठीक है? कि this not supposed to be anything wrong per se with you to go to
a
therapy.
therapist.
कि okay, this is wrong with me, इसलिए I am going to therapy. कि
I mean, of course,
हाँ,
considering the fact कि अगर किसी के साथ कोई major concern हुआ है या
हाँ.
traumatic experience हुआ है, and by traumatic I mean any physical, sexual or an abuse or near death experience is what counts as a traumatic incident. But I think apart from all of this, हम लोग के लाइफ में इतने issues होते हैं, चाहे वो हमारे relationship issues हो, खुद के career की इतनी ज़्यादा tension हो, या मतलब वो stress हो जाता है ना कि यार कुछ काम नहीं हो रहा है, या फिर इतना काम हो रहा है कि प्रोडक्टिविटी गिल्ट हो जाती है. लाइक आई थिंक एज बेसिक एज having a fight with my parents, or having those patterns or recognizing those patterns, what is that something which is getting wrong in my life. And sometimes it's also about ki how I can become a better person.
I'm actively trying to make my life and myself better. That is why I would
seek a therapist.
हाँ, that is true. But वही नहीं है कि जैसे बहुत लेबल आता है, बहुत स्टिग्मा आता है कि if you're going to therapy,
you are someone who's depressed. सीधा बोल जाता है कि depressed ही होगा.
कुछ जिंदगी में कुछ बहुत बुरा हुआ है तभी you are in therapy and something has serious happened with this person.
And people also feel that एकदम से ना वो आ जाती है sympathy सा कि क्या कहते हैं,
oh you go to therapy,
let me know if I can. अरे भाई वो therapy जा रहा है because
वो जा रहा है, जो help चाहिए
the person is happy,
वो मिल रही है help वहाँ पे.
And I also feel therapy is a sign of strength because वो चीज बहुत हिम्मत लगती है खुद के issues acknowledge करने में.
If you're comfortable, please tell. मतलब even I don't know this. Like we talk a lot and I know most of the things. But
no, okay, this was impromptu. But okay.
But how is your first experience with therapy?
So if I talk about my first experience, of course it would bring stigma, but I would also tell you. So my first experience was when I was going through something major in my life, and I seek the therapist, and मैंने ऐसे 2-3 सेशंस में अपना पूरा ऐसे चिट्ठा रखा कि यार ये हुआ ये हुआ ये हुआ. Of course मैंने यार नहीं बोला, वरना मतलब technically whatever, but मैंने अपना सारी चीजें बताई. And then after 2-3 sessions, my first therapist ghosted me. And I was like, oh God. And I was not okay at that time. I needed someone. But unfortunately happened. And I was like, I don't think I can do this. And me being a psychology student, I still had कि यार देखेंगे. I did not turn पूरा ऐसे black hole में नहीं. I was like देखेंगे because I had थोड़ा सा of course awareness. But of course such an incident can genuinely impact someone. फिर I chose to seek therapy again after like few months. And I had like good number of sessions, but उसके बाद भी same चीज happened with me.
That at this I know.
Yeah, so I was like कि यार अब तो नहीं हो पाएगा मेरे से फिर से वो हिम्मत वो करना. But of course एक understanding और awareness थी. I tried again, and third time it genuinely worked. So I think इससे एक ये भी होता है कि not every therapist works out for you. So you really need to see.
That is true. Then it comes back to this question also na, what fits you वाली बात हो जाती है.
One size does not fit all.
ठीक है, it's not like कि someone who's a really really good therapist and so that would be a perfect therapist for me also. मतलब there can be someone who is not as renowned as the other person but would fit me exactly.
That's true. So I think if one knows कि हाँ यार हो सकता है 1-2 एक्सपीरियंस खराब पॉसिबल हो सकते हैं, तो आई थिंक उसके बाद one can try again. बट भाई अगर वो अवेयरनेस नहीं है ना तो लोग सीधा बोलते हैं भाई मेरे थेरेपिस्ट ने कुछ नहीं किया है, वो बेकार था या बेकार थी.
And I think फिर वो जनरलाइजेशन
हो जाता है और फिर वो स्टिग्मा आ जाता है कि नहीं वर्कआउट
करेगा.
But yes, it requires a lot of efforts from your side as well, I must say. So coming back to this therapist wala thing, how to choose the right therapist? Like if you have to, now that you are also mentioned that you are actively seeking a therapist for yourself with respect to all your concerns, so how would you go about choosing a therapist?
I think I'm gonna answer this in 2 segments, because first is how am I choosing it, because for me it is, I feel a little more difficult because I'm coming from the field. ठीक है, I'm actively networking in the same field,
Yeah.
and then I have to find someone who, and ठीक है, I'm not saying कि हम बहुत ज़्यादा influencers हैं, but people do know us.
Yes.
A lot of people, they know us by our work, by our faces, what do we do. So it puts you in a very awkward limelight also. कि अच्छा, ठीक है, this is Akshatara, co-founder of That Is
Desi
Psychologist, who is my client.
Yeah, so
ठीक है,
it might
so
feel
वो जो
weird.
the same thing you were mentioning ना कि मेरे को judged feel होता है, ठीक है, and with this, like I am a co-founder of a mental health organization, ठीक है, and I feel very awkward कि अच्छा if I tell कि अच्छा मेरी जिंदगी में ये चीजें खराब चल रही हैं,
हाँ,
तो फिर लोग, हो सकता है बहुत बैकलैश भी आए कि खुद तो मेंटल हेल्थ ऑर्गेनाइजेशन चला रहे हैं और खुद की जिंदगियों में यूं,
but I think
हाँ,
that is true.
हाँ,
हम भी इंसान ही तो हैं
हाँ,
at the
that
end.
is what I also feel कि,
Hmm.
but then I go back and think about it कि okay, ठीक है, I see these people working, I am from the same fraternity, and what will you do? That is what the
Exactly.
question I
We'll
ask.
be ethical.
हाँ, कि
We'll be
अगर मेरे पास
confident.
कोई ऐसा client आता है
Hmm.
जिसको I know from the field is someone I've seen them working for a few years, what would I do? I would hold that against them, and I think that is the trust we need in
therapy.
therapists.
And I think therapists do that. All
That
the
is true.
therapists who are qualified, who are well educated, जिन्होंने
Hmm.
अपनी डिग्री अच्छे से और पूरी कंप्लीट की
हाँ.
होती है, I think they would not do anything as such.
हाँ.
So
coming back to the second, how can someone who is not from the field choose a perfect? There's no perfect therapist, but something that
choose
would
the most suitable
work
wala.
for them. Yeah, most suitable therapist. I think qualification is something that you should look forward to. At least ये नहीं कि कौन से कॉलेज से डिग्री की है, but they should have right qualification.
Credentials.
हाँ, कि मतलब credentials हैं, they are qualified enough, they have completed their hours of training. So this is something that you definitely should keep in mind. Apart from that, I would also say कि ना बहुत click होता है, ठीक है, it is also like at the most basic level, two people coming in a therapy session, they are humans.
Exactly.
And when they are humans, the basic this na is very much required.
I think उसको हम अपने टर्म्स में रैपो फॉर्मेशन कहते हैं कि एक बार वो बैठ जाए ना बात करना तो easier हो जाता है.
And I've seen wonders happening with the clients once I have a rapport with them. वरना उससे पहले
तो बहुत ही वो होता है कि सामने वाले को लगता है कि हम उनसे कुछ करवाने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं, कुछ बदलने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं, बट ऐसा नहीं होता. सो कमिंग बैक टू द क्वालिफिकेशंस पार्ट, व्हाट डू यू थिंक, अगर मुझे मेरा ब्रेकअप हुआ है फॉर एग्जांपल, या मेरी लाइफ में कोई भी पर्सनल इशू चल रहा है, मुझे किन क्वालिफिकेशंस के लिए देखना चाहिए?
मतलब वही है, डिपेंड्स ऑन द इशू दैट यू आर फेसिंग, लाइक गोइंग ऑन विद यू. If this as basic, I'm not saying that it is basic that you are going through a big breakup.
एक तो हम लोगों को ना इतना कॉन्शियस होना पड़ता है हर एक टर्म पे.
I'm so conscious right now कि मैं कुछ ऐसा
ना बोलूं कि वो, because the thing is it in our field ना everything is just on the edge कि एक चीज तुमने इधर से उधर बोली,
then you're cancelled.
backlash.
And we've had that so many times. अभी recently starting में, oh god.
But I think it's just important how much you are able to incorporate the feedback, and at the same time ऐसा नहीं कि सब तुम्हें कुछ भी बोले और तुम just accept भी करते रहो. It's like you have to create those boundaries around you. But yes, what qualifications would we look forward to?
We need a counseling psychologist. So there are like people who won't know. There are difference between counseling psychologists, and then there are specializations also. Someone like if you're going through a breakup, and someone who works on relationships is
the most appropriate
person. So the right qualifications would be masters in psychology, in counseling or clinical, and like additional diploma, or if they are under supervision, they are doing the courses. You can, and I think therapists are very upfront about it also.
And I think यहाँ पे एक ये चीज भी जरूरी है कि एज अ क्लाइंट ना डरो मत, आस्क योर थेरेपिस्ट कि आपने क्या क्या किया है, हैव दैट क्लैरिटी कि योर थेरेपिस्ट शुड बी educated enough and should be trained enough.
हाँ.
एक होती है education जो तुम्हारी bachelor's masters करके आ जाती है, but एक होती है training जिसमें you are actually working with the client. A person who has just completed the masters cannot provide therapy because no
and नहीं होते. जैसे I did my masters अभी, उसके बाद भी I was very afraid कि अच्छा, and I took my time before I like अब तो it's part of my curriculum only to interact with the clients, but I was not ready to take the step कि okay, I'm gonna see clients independently.
I think till now we both are taking actively
supervision.
Actively taking supervision as well as clients, right? We are providing therapy and at the same time ऐसा भी होता है कि हम थेरेपी ले रहे हैं, फिर अपने आप को ट्रेन भी कर रहे हैं, प्रिपेयर भी कर रहे हैं, कॉन्फिडेंशियलिटी भी मेंटेन कर रहे हैं.
Oh, it's so much.
It just gets so much, and then we have to like prepare for the notes as well. So I think it's been
roller coaster.
Yeah, but like in good terms as well and in roller coaster terms as well.
Everything has their ups and downs.
Yeah.
So that is one thing. So yeah, you would need a counseling psychologist, but if you're going through something more severe, such as something that is clinically diagnosed, then it is recommended that you go to a clinical psychologist. But there are so many people who are like going through counseling psychologists also.
And I think
they
clinical psychologists can take cases. अब जैसे if we talk about anxiety and depression, एक होता है कि हमारी anxiety है कि exam को stress को लेके या career anxiety हो गई या there is a grief like कि someone's death in the family or a loved one, so there is that grief that comes also जिसमें we can seek a counseling psychologist. But when it becomes very very severe, like anxiety में ऐसा हो रहा है कि panic attacks constantly हो रहे हैं और बहुत लंबे time के हो रहे हैं, then I think clinical psychologist is more suitable. कि जब बहुत severity बढ़ जाती है या और the bipolar disorder हो गया, schizophrenia हो गया, तुम्हारा personality disorders हो गए जो बहुत लंबे time के लिए होते हैं,
because they're trained differently.
Exactly. And even like with crisis situations, some psychologists are counseling psychologists are trained with all the crisis intervention, suicide prevention, but not every psychologist is. नहीं अभी भी नहीं पता लोगों को कैसे करना होता है. That is why तब clinical psychologist is more suitable.
And then you can also choose people who are trauma informed, who are
queer affirmative.
So that is something, and I would recommend anyone. And that is what I am also doing. Do your own research.
Exactly.
ठीक है, कौन सी organization कौन से therapist दे रही है, कौन सा therapist किस लिए trained है.
यहाँ पे I think I would also say कि हमें भी कितना ज़्यादा time लग गया. मतलब I remember we started with providing therapy and bringing a team of psychologists, and then we realized कि there are some management issues, session scheduling and all. But we took our time.
We took good enough.
हम लोगों ने एक साल लिया and now we have
back on our feet.
Exactly. And we have around 7 psychologists who are actively taking cases. So I think we have also progressed from there. But I think we clarified a lot of things. We talked about who is a therapist, what is therapy, what goes in therapy, when to take therapy. There should be nothing,
to take therapy.
And there should be like nothing wrong or severely wrong to seek a therapist.
Achha, so let's move to our ritual now.
Yes.
So do you have a question? I think I'm very excited for the ritual today because I genuinely spend a lot of time thinking about the question. So let's move to the ritual.
Yes.
Okay. So I have one very interesting question for you. So if you want to have a therapy session with a fictional character, who would it be and why? Pehले appreciate me for my question.
It's a creative one.
Yeah. Thank you. I know.
I think I can think of so many characters right now. मतलब मैंने ऐसे बचपन से लेकर आज तक कितनी सारी series और anime देखे हैं कि I can think of characters. But I would go with the one who is like the most known and most guess. Damon Salvatore.
Oh, I did not see this coming. I thought you were going to say Taylor Swift or someone.
No, I think Taylor Swift is like
makes
good.
Makes sense because there are so many. See, I'm not saying therapists are builders and Bob the Builders, but good client he would be.
because we can literally like spot so many issues with, especially with the emotional unavailability. I think that is something I would really want to-
impulsivity
also. So Damon Salvatore from Vampire Diaries, I think
and
there would be
bonus
so
points
much to explore, I would say.
and bonus points for the good looks.
but just to clear it out,
हाँ,
we do not
yeah,
go for
yeah,
good
yeah,
looks.
yeah.
ठीक है. My turn.
Okay, okay.
So अगर हमारी सोसाइटी में या हमारी लाइफ में कोई रूल्स नहीं है, कोई नॉर्म्स नहीं है, सोशल नॉर्म्स और एनीथिंग, कुछ ऐसी बातें नहीं है, तो हाउ वुड यू डिफाइन हैप्पीनेस एंड सक्सेस?
एकदम ऐसे
इंटेलेक्चुअल क्वेश्चन,
फिलोसफिकल क्वेश्चन हो गया. मैं कहाँ ऐसे बिल्कुल
डेविड सैल्वाटोर पे थी
and then you
so just say na, having a life with Damon Salvatore would be
happiness. But I would say कि जो ये हैप्पीनेस और सक्सेस के कॉन्सेप्ट्स है ना, ये सोसाइटल नॉर्म्स जब बने उन सब चीजों से भी पहले एग्जिस्ट करते हैं. एंड आई थिंक इन अभी के टाइम में ना हमने बहुत स्टैंडर्ड हैप्पीनेस और सक्सेस कर दिया है कि ओके इफ आई एम अचीविंग दिस देन आई एम हैप्पी, okay if I'm achieving this then I am successful. And it is not just singularity में नहीं चलता है, it's very comparative also. ठीक है, if my friend has a BMW and I got a better version of a better car, then I am successful.
वो कहते हैं ना, I think your mom also said this, that इंसान मेले में होके भी अकेला है and कोई अकेले होके भी मेला है.
हाँ,
I think that's what counts.
Was very good thing. So बहुत सिंपल चीजें होती हैं जो खुशी देती है. ठीक है, तुम्हें भूख लग रही है और तुमने खाना, उस समय तुम्हें खाना मिल गया. ठीक है, सुशी तो लग्जरी हो गई. अगर जो उस टाइम पे परांठा भी मिल गया, ठीक है, so that is happiness.
Yeah, I think it is the simplest joys of life.
हाँ, and I think at the end of the day ना, that is what you want. Like if I say for myself, I don't think कि at the end of the day बाकी सब कुछ मैटर करता है. ठीक है, like even if जैसे बहुत लोग हमें बोलते हैं कि साइकोलॉजी में पैसा नहीं है, ठीक है, but the joy that this profession gets us, no one would understand that.
And so basically, you know, just passing each and every single day doing things you like can give you happiness. You don't have to be at like the top notch every single time or at your best. I think good answer. Yes. I think I would give points to you this time.
लोगों को लगेगा बहुत स्क्रिप्टेड है कि पहले तू जीती then मैं जीती.
नहीं, but ये थोड़ा अच्छा लगा मुझे ये बात conversation करके.
It was a question ऐसे बिल्कुल.
Thanks. ठीक है, so I think next time you are going to style me for the next episode.
Okay, I am excited for this.
So this brings us to the end of our very second episode, which was around therapy, and we hope कि आप लोगों को भी काफी कुछ समझने और सीखने को मिला. And इसके साथ we would just end up by saying like, share, subscribe, the ritual.
Please like, share, subscribe to our channel. Oh, I love it. I'm still not over saying this. But yes, thank you so much for showing your support and love to the first episode, and we're hoping for the same. And please subscribe to us, follow us on Instagram, and keep connecting with us, maybe. Thank you so much. Bye. We'll see you soon.